Provincial Capitals of China, Part 5, Autonomous Regions. Guangxi Zhuang Autonomous Region, Inner Mongolia Autonomous Region, Ningxia Hui Autonomous Region, Tibet Autonomous Region, Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region. Notice that the full name of each autonomous region indicates the name of the minority ethnic group associated with the region. Now, let's learn the capital city of each autonomous region. As we learned in a previous video, the name
Guangxi
is the combination of a word that means expanse or expansion and the word for west. In Chinese, the full official name is
广西壮族自治区.
On screen, you can also see the name of the region using the Zhuang language. The Zhuang people make up about a third of Guangxi's population. During much of China's history, Guangxi was a province and its capital was Guilin, a northern city famous for its remarkable river landscapes. In 1950, the provincial capital moved south to its present location in the heart of the Zhuang area. And in 1958, Guangxi became an autonomous region of China. The current capital of Guangxi is
Nanning.
Perhaps you can figure out the meaning of the name if you have watched previous videos. The first character, Nan, means south, and Ning means pacified. The pacified south. Pacified? During the Yuan dynasty, a variety of rebellions broke out in southern China. After a long struggle, two major rebel groups submitted to national authority and sent tribute to the Yuan government. And so, in 1324, to celebrate hopes for continued peace, the emperor changed the city's name to Nanning, the pacified south. Although the city has a history stretching back more than 1,500 years, it does not have the rich heritage of imperial importance or monumental buildings that we have seen with some other capital cities. Nanning's humid subtropical climate and corresponding scenery explain why it is also known as the Green City. Another nickname for the city is Five Elephant City, or just Elephant City. Although in modern times there are no elephants in Guangxi, there is evidence that long ago they were present in this area. The city has a park called Five Elephants Ridge, and in the middle of the city, a large fountain in the form of 5 elephants. Like the two arches in the capital of Yunnan province, there are folk tales that speak of the elephants. According to one ancient legend, long ago 5 elephants arrived to help the area with flood control and to assist with the crops. Then a phoenix also arrived and was directed by the elephants to go to the other side of the river to watch over the city. A greedy administrator told people to build a tall pagoda at the spot where the phoenix was vigilantly surveying the area. The pagoda hampered the ability of the phoenix to fly. After a while, the elephants became concerned that they had not heard from the phoenix. Looking out across the river, the reflection of the pagoda appeared as a whip, and thus the industrious elephants fell under the control of the evil administrator. 2 of the elephants escaped, but forlornly looking back, became frozen in time, transforming into mountains. A second legend tells that during the Warring States period of Chinese history, the 5 elephants appear in a dream to Qin Shi Huang, king of one of the states. He attempts to urge the elephants forward by smacking their rumps with his hand. But suddenly his hand can no longer strike the elephants, instead just waving in the air. He awakes to realize the elephants have turned into mountains. In any case, Today, Nanning is an industrious modern city and an important center of the Zhuang population in China. Now let's head north to Inner Mongolia Autonomous Region. The English name, Inner Mongolia, is a straightforward translation of the name in both the Chinese and Mongolian languages. The full official name is Inner Mongolia Autonomous Region. In Chinese, that is,
内蒙古自治区.
See the full name on the screen in English, Chinese characters, and Mongolian script. Inner Mongolia's huge irregular crescent shape extends more than 1,400 miles from northeastern China to the far west. It includes vast areas of grassland, deserts, mountains, and river valleys. Throughout history, this area has been a transitional borderland, separating the sedentary agrarian communities of the south from a changing cast of hunter-herder groups to the north. Eventually, Mongolian tribes became the dominant force in the north. Under the leadership of Genghis Khan, the Mongols united to conquer a huge area across Asia and parts of Eastern Europe. China was absorbed into the huge Mongol Empire. After the death of Genghis Khan, the empire split apart. In 1271, Genghis Khan's grandson, Kublai Khan, created the Yuan dynasty, combining China and what is now the independent country of Mongolia. Later, the Chinese Ming dynasty arose in the south, and Mongol armies were pushed back to the north, where the struggle continued in the border regions. The English name of the capital city of Inner Mongolia is Hohhot, or in Chinese,
呼和浩特.
Those are phonetic transliterations of the city's Mongol name, which means blue city. The color blue is very significant to the Mongol people, as it is associated with the sky and with purity. Settlement in the area of Hohhot has a long history, dating back to the 3rd century BCE. In the middle of the 16th century of the Common Era, the Mongol leader Altan Khan built the Dajiao Temple on the site of Hohhot, and then established a city there. Some sources say that the original walls of the city were built with blue bricks. This may have been the origin of the city's current name. Today, about 3 million people live in metropolitan Hohhot. Ethnic Mongols comprise a bit less than 9% of the population. The city is a regional center of culture and commerce. Its industries include China's largest dairy producer. Just across the border from the southernmost part of Inner Mongolia, we come to Ningxia Hui Autonomous Region. It is one of China's smallest provincial-level administrative areas. The name in Chinese is
宁夏回族自治区.
The Hui are an ethno-religious group in China. They are Chinese-speaking followers of Islam. More than 10 million Hui live in China. About 20% of China's Hui population live in Ningxia, where they comprise 38% of the population. The capital of Ningxia is
Yinchuan.
It sits on the west side of the Yellow River as it heads north toward the huge Ordos Loop. The city's name means Silver River. It is said that in the moonlight, the sparkling waters of the Yellow River shine like silver. Wedged between the Yellow River and the Helan Mountains, this city's location has a long history. Just southeast of the city, scientists discovered a Paleolithic site showing human presence about 30,000 years ago. And in the Helan Mountains, a sizable trove of ancient rock art has been found. The name of this region, Ningxia, means pacified Xia. This refers to the total destruction in 1227 of the Western Xia dynasty by the Mongols under Genghis Khan. Afterwards, the ruined former capital had to be built again from scratch. That rebuilt city is today's Yinchuan. It took centuries for Yinchuan to recover its full grandeur. In 1958, Ningxia was declared an autonomous region. Although Yinchuan is the capital of the Hui Autonomous Region, that minority group makes up only about 26% of the city's population. Agriculture, animal husbandry, and handicrafts are traditional areas of commerce. But during recent decades, Yinchuan's economy has expanded to include machinery manufacturing, chemical production, technology companies, and production of fine grape wines. In the past, travel distance made Yinchuan somewhat isolated. But in 2020, high-speed passenger trains began operating between Xi'an and Yinchuan, facilitating access to not only the capital, but the entire region. 2 years later, another high-speed route was completed to connect Yinchuan with Lanzhou in Gansu Province. By Chinese standards, Yinchuan is not a large city, but in some aspects it is quite modern. Its smaller, more manageable size provides flexibility in trying new approaches to urban management. Leaving Ningxia and Yinchuan, let's go to the next autonomous region. A journey of 600 miles southwest of Yinchuan gets us to the border of the Tibet Autonomous Region. In Chinese, this is
西藏自治区
Much of Tibet is uninhabitable, rugged terrain. Because of this, it is China's most sparsely populated region. Unlike other autonomous regions, in Tibet we find that the ethnic group for which it is named makes up a large majority of the population, about 86%. In Chinese, the name of the Tibetan ethnic minority is
藏族
Although in the West we tend to view Tibet as an exclusively Buddhist area, a significant number of adherents to the traditional Bon religion remain. In addition, a small but active Muslim population has played important roles in commerce and trade. The English name for the capital of the Tibet Autonomous Region is Lhasa, and in Chinese,
拉萨
These are phonetic transliterations of the city's name in Tibetan, which means home of the gods. A modern nickname for Lhasa is Sunshine City. The city is positioned in the fertile valley of the Lhasa River, which feeds into the Yarlung Sampo. Lhasa first became a capital in the middle of the 7th century under the direction of the Tibetan king Songtsen Gampo, who founded the Tibetan Empire. During his reign, he converted from the Bon religion to Buddhism. Lhasa was the on-again, off-again capital of Tibet through the next few centuries as the Tibetan Empire grew, then disintegrated in the middle of the 9th century. Dalai Lama is the title given starting in the 15th century to a series of religious figures of the Yellow Hat sect of Tibetan Buddhism. In the 17th century, the 5th Dalai Lama added political powers to his religious role, and in 1642, Lhasa was restored as the administrative capital of the central portion of Tibet. By the end of the final Chinese imperial dynasty, Tibet was in effect a Chinese protectorate. The Dalai Lama maintained local governance, but imperial commissioners of the Qing dynasty handled almost all of the region's exterior affairs. In the short period from the overthrow of the Chinese emperor in 1912 until 1949, all of China, including Tibet, underwent a period of upheaval, political instability, and war. In 1950, the 14th Dalai Lama, at the time a boy of 15, became the political leader of Tibet. 9 years later, along with a group of followers, he abandoned the regional capital, setting up an exile community in India. However, the political seat of power for Tibet remained in Lhasa. And today, the Potala Palace is an extremely popular tourist attraction, filled with cultural relics related to Tibetan Buddhism. By 1950, the era of warlords, overt foreign invasions, and civil war had ended. The Chinese government had a colossal task of reconstruction and modernization ahead of it. One of the many aspects was an ambitious program of improved transportation throughout the country. This was especially crucial for the future of southwestern China. Based on the 17-point agreement, China reestablished its role in Tibet. However, neither political change nor ambitious desires can magically erase the difficult nature of forging pathways across the brutal terrain of the Tibetan Plateau. Pre-existing routes of travel and trade consisted of a rudimentary network of treacherous pathways that wound through difficult natural barriers. The hard work of transportation development was amplified greatly due to the geography of Tibet. Nevertheless, highways, railways, and air transportation began to reach Lhasa. By 1954, a highway had been constructed heading west from Sichuan to Lhasa. And in 2006, the Qinghai-Tibet Railroad opened. That was an engineering marvel that includes the world's highest railway tunnel and vast stretches at such a high altitude that oxygen must be introduced into the passenger compartments. Air travel presented its own unique challenges. Although airplanes tend to fly at very high altitudes, it is very difficult to take off and land at a high altitude. Lhasa's first commercial airport was established in 1956 to the north of the city. However, harsh conditions, including high winds, led to the construction of the present airport located to the south of the city. Meanwhile, a boom in production of handicrafts helped supplement the autonomous region's traditional subsistence-level agricultural model. Feeding the demand for cultural souvenirs was an increasing stream of visitors from other parts of China and from the rest of the world. Tourism rapidly expanded to become a major component of the Tibetan economy. By 2023, visits to Lhasa reached more than 30 million per year. As with the construction of cathedrals in medieval Europe, centuries of religious cultural domination created many impressive buildings in Lhasa. In addition to the Potala Palace, many tourists gravitate to the Jokhang Temple and a pair of nearby Buddhist monasteries. To the north of Tibet, we reach China's far northwestern area, the Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region. The name in Chinese is
新疆维吾尔自治区
and on the screen you can also see the name in the Uyghur language. Xinjiang means new frontier. Geographically, it is China's largest administrative territory. In the south-central part of this region lies the Taklamakan Desert. To get past this area of brutal shifting sands, the ancient Silk Road forked into two paths. One stayed to the north of the desert, the other passed to the south. Xinjiang has been an ever-evolving homeland for numerous groups who over the centuries battled for control of the territory. A few of those contending groups are accounted for in the current ethnic makeup of Xinjiang. 45% are Uyghurs, statistically edging out the 42% who are Han Chinese. The capital city of Xinjiang is Urumqi, which means beautiful pasture. Phonetic transliteration to Chinese is
乌鲁木齐
On the screen, you can see the name in its English, Chinese, and Uyghur renderings. But the name of this capital city didn't originate in any of those languages. It comes from the Mongol Dzungar people who dominated the northern part of Xinjiang during the 17th and 18th centuries. The main routes of the ancient Silk Road passed to the south of Urumqi, which was nothing more than a small town until rather recently. But by the time of the Qing dynasty, it began to grow significantly in importance. Bear in mind that the concentrated areas of Uyghur culture are in the southern part of Xinjiang. Urumqi is in the north. The population distribution within the city reflects that. The Han Chinese ethnicity makes up about 3/4 of the city residents. Uyghurs account for less than 13% of the population. The remainder is a mix of additional minority ethnicities. Although of only secondary importance to the ancient Silk Road, Urumqi has become a critical way station of China's Belt and Road program, which includes a network of railroad paths that are reintroducing an important overland channel of commerce that passes from China's far east through its far west, continuing through the middle of Asia and onward to Europe. Like most Chinese capitals, Urumqi is now a large, beautiful, modern city. With its backdrop of high mountains, the city's skyline includes skyscrapers as well as traditional neighborhoods. As we leave the capital of Xinjiang, it should be noted that Urumqi is called the most remote city of the world. This is because, compared to other large cities, it has the greatest distance to any ocean or sea. This completes our introduction to the capital cities of the 5 autonomous regions. Stay tuned for Part 6, the final chapter of the Capitals of China series.